I'm not gonna waste too much time talking. I'm just gonna get right into it. I'm trying to figure out like this camera situation. I can't really see too well and I'm on my bed. So. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kendra and today I thought I'd share with you all some of my favorite YA series. And if you're not into reading, this probably isn't the video for you, but you know, just feel free to watch along anyways. So I'm just gonna get right into it. The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han. She kind of like dominated this summer because Amazon Prime or Prime Video came out with a show based off of these books. Prime Video actually came out with the show based off of these books this year, so they kind of have like resurfaced and repopulated and everyone's like obsessed again. But my biggest flex is that I read it before it was even announced that it was being a show, and I actually really did love them. They're like so nostalgic and it's so good. So The Summer I Turned Pretty is kind of the series that got me back into reading again. In the first book we follow a girl named Isabella Conklin. Everyone calls her Belly though. It's kind of a silly nickname, but you know, it works. Just you'll understand when you read it. Anyways, we follow a girl named Belly, and she goes with her mom and her brother to her mom's best friend's summer house, or beach house rather. And her mom's best friend has two boys of her own, so they all kind of grew up together and they're all best friends. As the title says, The Summer I Turned Pretty, see that Belly has grown up and she has matured, and the boys start to realize her as well. So there's definitely some conflict going on. It's more of like more of a coming of age story. There's definitely some romance, love triangle. I won't say too much, but it's definitely a good read. Definitely check the trigger warnings, I guess, because it kind of has some unexpected plots, maybe. I mean, if you've seen the show, then you know what happens, but look up the trigger warnings because I was not prepared. They are kind of sad, so yeah, just be forewarned. Anyway, it's great. It gives you that summer vibe, summer feeling. It definitely puts me in the mood for summer. It's great to read like when you've got those like winter blues, you know, it helps pick you up. Anyway, it's just good vibe, great books. So that brings me to my next YA series, which is The Hunger Games. I actually thrifted this entire set, which is why they don't match. This one's paperback and then these two are both hardcovers. Yeah, these are like classics. They used to be like my favorite movies, like, you know, back 2016, 2018, whenever they were really popular. Actually, I think it was before that, like more like 2012. Anyway, I was like obsessed with them. I wanted to be Katniss Everdeen. I even convinced my dad to buy me a bow and arrow, the whole thing. But this is just a classic, I feel like. 10 out of 10 series. The books are a lot more obviously detailed than the movies, but I feel like this is the one time, or the one exception, when book to film adaptations like actually suffice. Like, it did the books justice. I actually enjoyed both the movies and the books, and that doesn't always happen. Usually the books are a lot better. Definitely more detail in here, so I totally recommend reading them if you were obsessed with them like I was. This is my first time reading them. Like I said, I watched the movies before, but I had never read the books, so I'm glad I did that. Let's go this one. So this is the selections. Oh, hold on. So this next series is called the Selection Series by Kira Cass. Kira Cass, I think is how you say it. It's a really great YA series. I think I gave them all 5 stars. It definitely like gets better as you keep reading. All follows a girl named America Singer, and she is selected within the selection, obviously, and there's a bit of a love triangle. It's kind of like dystopian Hunger Games. Like, they have different like caste systems, so like different tiers. Like, you have your elite, and then it goes down to like the different workers and the servants and the people that serve the higher up. Anyway, it's one of those like dystopian kind of series. I think I heard someone describe it as like the Hunger Games mixed with The Bachelor, and honestly that's a great description because once you read it, like, you'll find out. But essentially the king is trying to find his son, who is gonna be the heir to the throne one day, trying to find him a wife. So they have what they call the selection, and different girls are picked from different districts or from different castes, and they all compete or basically go on dates with him, kind of like The Bachelor, and he's supposed to find a wife by the end of it. Anyway, lots of twists and turns, plot twist, whatever. It was really good, and it's super clean. I'm not into reading like smut or anything like that. I'm all for the clean books. Like, give me the angst, you know. I'm here for it, the slow burn kind of romance, and this was honestly perfect. Definitely can be even read by even younger readers. Anyway, just a good series. 10 out of 10. Read it. And then they also have even more books which follow the main character's daughter later on in life. I started to read it, but at that point I was kind of over it after I'd read those 3 books because those are really good and I read them really fast, and I thought these would be just as good, and I don't know, they probably are. I just didn't really give them a chance because once I was reading, it was just kind of like overdone, and it's almost like history was repeating itself. Anyway, like I said, it follows the main character's daughter, and I was just like done with it, so I didn't continue. Maybe I will pick them up again one day, but I have not read them all. And then this, I don't know if it's like a mini novella or I don't really know what this is, but I also thrifted these books like really cheap, so I just bought the whole thing. I didn't really necessarily need these, but maybe one day I'll pick them up again. But anyway, these are great books, 10 out of 10 recommend. And then the last series is, of course, the Inheritance Games. I cannot add this. Again, they don't match, so please ignore that. These two are hardcovers, and then this is paperback. But it doesn't really bother me. I'm fine with it. I know for some people it's like a trigger, but I'm like, whatever. The Inheritance Games is a great trilogy as well. So essentially, this girl, she's living out of her car. She's kind of like an orphan. I guess she is an orphan. Anyway, she gets notified that she was left inside this like billionaire's will. It's just an old guy who passed away, and she doesn't even really know him, just that she was left in the will. So they contact her and tell her that she inherited like this big estate and all of this money, but there's a twist. She has to live inside the mansion, inside his house, for a whole year before she can have access to anything, or access to any of the funds, I guess, and properties. So she has to live in this giant house with his four grandsons. I mean, how awful for her, right? She inherited all this money, has to live with these great looking guys. I mean, poor Avery. That's her name, by the way, the main character. While she's living in the house, there is like some mystery and some riddles and puzzles that they have to unfollow. The family's like obsessed with riddles and puzzles. So she joins the brothers, the old man's grandsons, to figure out why she was left in the will, and other mysteries along the way. A lot to unpack in these 3 books, but they kept me entertained the entire time. Not once was I bored. They're super quick reads. Before you know it, you're like halfway through and you didn't even realize. These books are so good. 10 out of 10 recommend. This is probably my favorite series that I read this year. Actually, that's a lie. I don't know that it was my favorite. It's my second favorite. This next series that I'm about to show you, I think that was my favorite. I don't have the first 3 books. I actually lent them to a friend and she's reading them right now. But this is the Shatter Me series. The first 3 books, like I said, my friend has them because I'm letting her read them. But these are the last 3 books. It is quite a hefty series. There's a lot of books. There's also novellas that are supposed to be read like in between. I didn't read them. You didn't miss much. It just gives you a little extra something. Kind of like an epilogue or, you know, stuff like that. But just in between books. Anyway, the Shatter Me series, oh my goodness, it was so good. Again, it is a dystopian. I used to say that I wasn't really into fantasy, but I guess I am because these are some of my favorite books. Not in these books, but the first one, we follow a girl named Juliet Ferris, I think is how you say her last name. She's like confined in kind of this prison or jail cell because she has sort of like a lethal touch. So anyone that she touched, she hurts. Anyway, she's part of like this experiment, and I'm trying not to say too much because I don't want to give it away. But anyway, you follow her story and she gets let out of her cell. Okay, let me kind of read you the synopsis that come up online. It says, Shatter Me is a dystopian fiction that tells the story of a teenage girl who has never been able to experience human touch. She finds herself locked up in an asylum where she is left in complete isolation until the reestablishment decides that they want to use her as a weapon. These last 3 books definitely follow a bit more of the reestablishment and kind of like the war and the fight that's going on. Again, it's kind of like Hunger Games in the sense that the main female character rises up against the government. She raises up and defies, and you know the story. Once again, there's love triangle going on. If you guys keep up with like book talk or even on Instagram and stuff about books, you know that a guy named Aaron Warner kind of dominates, and he's everyone's like favorite book boyfriend. He's in the series and I agree, I like him, but if you guys read it, I'm not gonna say too much, but I'm definitely a Kenji stan. I love him. 10 out of 10. I feel like in real life we would be best friends. He's just so funny. Yeah, but these are pretty good YA books. I would say that they deal with some more mature content compared to the other books. especially compared to like something like the Selection series. These are a bit more mature, so if you're younger, maybe these aren't for you, but it's still labeled as YA, so I don't know. Like I said, just look up the warnings and stuff too. So yeah, those are all of the books that I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already read all of these series, you guys should definitely check them out because they're great. 10 out of 10 recommend. I love them all. They're really great. I definitely have some other series that I can recommend, but I didn't want this video to be too long, so I kind of try to pick my favorite that I read last year. Hope that I recommended some books for you guys to check out if you haven't read them already. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.